As y'all know from last time, we do face a lot of issues, but there's also a lot of benefits to being a black woman in the legal field. So we want to start off this one by just being bad and bougie.
Bad and bougie.
Like, honestly, I would like to tell myself that I'm the definition of bad and bougie, get you one who can do both. But you would not know that based on my Instagram, based on any of my social media.
We all have personal lives. We all have things that we do that's not on social media for good reasons. And I think it's very important to know that balance. If you don't know, most of my social media is dedicated to Jazz Talks Law. But every once in a while, you'll see a glimpse about something personal about me on like my Insta stories or on my Facebook page, for example. So it's really just about finding that balance.
Yes, so everyone was going to Miami for spring break. They were posing. They had all these cute little bikini pics all over Instagram.
Yep.
If I go to Miami, you're not going to see the bikini pics. I'm just going to have to keep those in my personal camera roll. I am taking them because I think I'm cute, but I'm not going to blast them for social media. And personally, you guys might have noticed that I created another Instagram, and that's at @livelaughLaw_. And the reason why I created that Instagram was for this sole issue, because I felt like my professional presence and my personal presence weren't combining well. It might be necessary for you to do that as well as you become a professional. So the next issue that we want to talk about is writing on social media about issues facing the black community. So when there was a lot of postings about police brutality and just everyday things that African Americans face, it can be hard. Like, what am I supposed to say about this? I want to keep it professional. I don't want to bash other races, but I do have personal feelings about that. So, I don't know. What do you think about that, Jazz?
It's a hard line. I think it's okay to have an opinion. I think it's okay to have a perspective and want to share that with your followers. But there's also a line that you should watch, because what you don't want to happen, right, is you post something and you just take it there, right? It is probably true. Don't get me wrong. What you said is probably very true. But what might happen is you go to work the next day, or you go to school the next day, and then people like, that's where we are. And it's like, why should you feel some type of way about what I said? It's true, right? But it could carry on off of social media. And if you are a law student, for one, you don't need any distractions. You have to stay focused on the bigger picture, right? You can have the biggest mouth on social media, but when it comes time to take that final exam, you need to have a bigger mouth so that you can actually use your legal degree to make some change within our broken society. So I would just say, just have a fine line with it. Don't ever push the limit to where it's going to continue off of social media.
You can have an opinion, but make sure you keep your opinion professional. If you wouldn't say it at work, don't say it on social media.
And to go off of that, so from the student environment, this is what I've seen happen. There was a joke that was made on a Facebook page, and long story short, that joke turned into, I think, over 100 comments from the entire law school. And what resulted from that was a complaint to the dean's office, which resulted in the campus police getting involved. And long story short, it just turned into something way bigger than what it should have been. And most importantly, it took time away from when those students should have been studying and preparing for their final exams. So just be very cognizant of how far you allow things to go on your social media.
So the next issue that we want to address is kind of funny, but we all do it.
Guilty.
We all do it unconsciously. Is changing our voice when we answer the phone.
I do this literally every single day. Like, if I'm talking to Bria, hey girl, how you doing? Then when I answer friend, hello, it's Attorney Jasmine Robinson. How can I help you? And if it's someone that I didn't know their number, but then, someone from my family or whatever, they're like, girl, who are you? But unfortunately, it's just one of those things that we feel like we have to do. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I do it. What do you think, Bria?
I definitely do it as well. And I don't think it's a bad thing, but even like when I was working in retail, I had like my work voice and then my regular voice. And I think it's just like, I forget the term. We used to talk about it all the time in class. Code switching. It's just code switching. It's what we do. It's honestly what we have to do to succeed. I know one thing that you don't want to do is like see an unknown number and you answer the phone like, hello, who is this? And then it's a job.
You'd be like, oh.
Right, that's what you don't want to do.
Right.
So I think it's better to, put on that fake hello than hello, who is this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's better to do that. So, I don't know. It happens.
Yeah, it's going to continue to happen.
Another thing is having an untraditional name. So I know there's like a lot of studies about this, about like people changing their name on their resume in hopes of getting a job. Me personally, my name is Bria Sharon. I don't ever put Sharon on like my resume or anything, although Bria is probably a telltale as well. But I feel like Sharon is even more of a telltale. So it's something I just don't put. I'll put like Bria S. But I know a lot of people have a lot more untraditional names than myself. So,
and to add to that, if you do have, if your name is a little bit more cultural or what have you, don't feel like you have to hide your name. As much as I understand you want to land that job, you need to be yourself. And if they aren't willing to accept that, then once again, like we said in part one, maybe that place isn't for you. But if you really want that job, then maybe you do. Instead of saying your full first name, you just, I've seen people, for example, instead of saying Jasmine A. Morris, they might say J. A. Morris, or just put the first letter of whatever name they want to cover up. So that might be something you can explore. But I'm totally all about being yourself, and if that company has a problem with the name that your mother gave you, to me that's a telltale sign to what lies ahead. But yeah.
Yeah, I think just like completely changing your name, like putting that your name is like Nikki Smith or something, that honestly, I'm not willing to go that far, and I don't think you should be willing to go that far. That's almost like selling your soul, yes. Honestly. Don't compromise who you are for a few dollars. Or a lot of dollars. But don't compromise who you are.
No soul selling in 2017. We're past that.
Yes.
So the next thing that we wanted to talk about was holding back. In the sense, you're holding back because you don't want to seem like the angry Black woman. A lot of times we can have an opinion on something, and someone else may have an opinion on the same thing, but we're quickly labeled as the angry Black woman versus they are being labeled as the person that just has an opinion. So in a law school setting, how do you feel you deal with that?
So my pet peeve, y'all, is when people do not say excuse me. Like, I always say excuse me, but some people don't. But even when they don't, I don't say anything because I don't want to be that angry Black woman. So I just, like take a deep breath, y'all. It's always better to take a deep breath than to go on this whole rant and start cussing the person out and end up being the angry Black woman. Because at the end of the day, the thing that you're angry about might honestly not be that big. And so, because I know saying excuse me, it's not really that big, but it's something that I know irks my nerves. So I just learned to take a deep breath instead of turning into that angry Black woman.
Y'all, I'm going to always make sure I say excuse me whenever I feel it is appropriate if I'm around Bria, okay? I don't want to see this angry Black woman. I think I got a glimpse of her just a few minutes ago.
This is exactly why I couldn't live in New York. Because no one says excuse me.
Yeah. And to go into that a little bit further, so what happens a lot of time, even if what we're saying is completely accurate, like you need to say excuse me, what ends up happening a lot of time is they become the victim. Mm-hmm. Oh, like it becomes more about them than it is about you and how they made you feel. So it's really about learning how to get your point across in a way where they can't play victim. I had to learn to do that a lot through email. What I'm seeing is a lot of times they can be very passive aggressive, And as I believe, as Black people, we can be a little bit more direct in how we respond to certain things. And I would never stoop to their level and be passive aggressive as well. But there's just sometimes if I see the conversation is going in that direction, I might just change into having that conversation in person, or just, following up with them over the phone or what have you, just to get out of that environment where it can turn into me becoming that angry Black woman.
Mm-hmm. And something that I had learned a lot, and a lot of people reiterated this while I was at Howard, is it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So if you have that angry Black woman tone, it's going to be taken very differently than if you have like a cool, calm, and collective tone, like, I would appreciate if, or excuse me, you just, it's different, y'all. It's different. And it's easy to just turn into that angry Black woman. But just take your deep breath and
they always love to use. They will use anything they can against us. Just remember that when you are reacting to any situation, just take a woosah first, and don't stoop to the level that you think they expect you to stoop to.
Yes. And so the next issue that I want to talk about is, that we want to talk about is when race comes up in class. So as y'all know, we're in law school, and race is often a very important topic. So I remember in crim law, we read the case about Huey P. Newton, and you would have never known from the way that the professor tailored the case. You would have never known that he was Black Panther, never known, and it kind of bothered me.
Really?
Yeah. It was weird, and we're now in con law, we're talking about affirmative action, and it's very surface level. We're not getting to the nitty gritty, and it's honestly bothering me. So I feel as if I have to add my 2 cents in to make sure that we're touching on what the actual issue is. In Huey P. Newton, I know a lot of it was about race, and we just, passed over the whole fact that he was a Black man and these were white cops, and but that's the real issue here. That's the way we're going to make the connection to police brutality that's actually going on. So your perspective is very, very, very important. And so always add your 2 cents in. But then when a whole nother issue is responding to a comment that your classmate might make, you don't always have to respond in class directly to them. Sometimes, it's better to just have a one-on-one conversation, because it might be taken better because you're not exposing them in front of the whole classroom, or because, the professor doesn't have to be involved. So if you feel like a classmate has went too far, connect with them on a personal level, and you might be able to explain yourself better than if you're in front of the whole entire class.
Something that I dealt with as a student, it wasn't necessarily a comment that a student made, but it was more so as being one of few Black students within the classroom, I oftentimes felt like I had to go above and beyond in my answers, or I had to over-prepare for class, because I felt like my answers and my responses would reflect on the entire Black community, because unfortunately, a lot of my classmates, they didn't know a lot about the Black community, the things that we faced. So it added this extra pressure. And thankfully, I think I did an okay job for us. But that is something to consider when you are looking at different law schools.
Mm-hmm. And also, you don't have to speak for the entire race. So if it's a race issue and you don't want to say anything, you don't have to say anything. It's not your job to speak for the African American race. You're not our sole delegate to go speak to this law school about about race. This isn't the place you are put in. So if you feel that you have something to say, then definitely say it. Don't hold back. But if you don't feel like you have anything to say, don't feel bad about that, or don't feel like you should be saying something just because you are Black and this is the topic of race.
We hope you guys enjoyed our conversation, and most importantly, we want to encourage you guys to continue these conversations, to discuss the things that we go through as Black women within the legal profession, specifically within law school and at law firms, at courthouses, etc. We have to stick together. We have to lean on each other, encourage each other, whether it's me encouraging a law student or law students encouraging each other as they are getting through their finals, exams, or whatever. We are not alone. I think sometimes as Black women, we feel like we just have to carry that load by ourselves. But that's not what we were put on this earth to do. We can support each other. We can lean on each other. So let's just continue this conversation and help each other as we climb to where we want to go.
Yep, I think it's all about Black girl magic. We have it, y'all. Black women are the future, the present, the past. We can do anything that we put our mind to. And so just stay inspired. Don't, just because you're a woman and you're African American, that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing. People want you. People need you. They're looking for us.
They want to look like us.
Exactly. So just go out there and give it your all, and don't ever feel like you need to settle just because you are a Black woman. As you know, y'all can connect with me if you want to talk about anything, specifically this. As y'all can tell, this is like my passion. Like, I love talking about this. So if you want to talk about this, follow me on Instagram. Send me an email or anything. Thanks.
Yeah. And if you guys are interested in law school and you're just starting that process, or if you're in the middle of that process and you're working on your personal statement, or you're struggling with preparing for the LSAT or what have you, please reach out to me. I am a law school coach. I edit personal statements and I review them to make sure you're hitting those key points within your personal statements. I help guide you through the entire law school admission process. Most importantly, I keep you guys accountable. It's one thing to know what you need to do, but actually do those to actually do those things on a daily basis is another. So please reach out to me. Once again, all of my social media is at Jazz Talks Law, and my website is www.jazztalkslaw.com. So feel free to reach out to me or Bria. We are here to help you guys, to give you that student perspective and to give you guys that student and now attorney perspective. So you guys have a great evening and reach out when you need us.
Thanks.
Bye.
Black girl magic.
Black girl magic.